Have you ever peeked at the code behind a modern website and just felt completely lost? Yeah, you're not alone. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on web development and see how we're moving from this tangled, messy code to clean, powerful, and reusable systems one block at a time.
So, not too long ago, if you looked under the hood of a big web app, you'd find something that looks, well, like this. It's just a sea of nested div elements, a mess of computer-generated class names. Developers have a great name for it: div soup. I mean, sure, it worked, but it was an absolute nightmare to try and understand, let alone fix or update.
If you've ever had to take over a project that looked like that, or maybe, let's be honest, you've built one yourself on a tight deadline, you know this feeling. You spend way more time just trying to figure out what the code is even doing than you do actually making it better.
But what if, instead of that mess, your code could look like this? Just look at how clean and descriptive that is. You've got tags like email thread and email content that tell you exactly what you're looking at. And no, this isn't some far-off fantasy. This is the reality of component-based development. It's code that basically describes its own purpose. So, how do we get from that tangled soup to this clean, beautiful reality? Well, here's our game plan. We're going to start with the big idea, the component revolution. Then we'll dig into the browser's own native building blocks, meet a really slick library called Lit that makes life easier, figure out how to test what we build, and finally, see how to scale all this up into full-blown applications.
All right, first up, the component revolution. And really, this is more than just a new coding technique. It's a completely different way of thinking about how we build things for the web.
At its core, it all comes down to this idea right here. It's all about building with independent, reusable pieces. Seriously, just think of them like digital Legos. You know, instead of trying to sculpt a whole castle out of one giant, messy block of clay, you build it from individual, standardized bricks that you can snap together in all sorts of amazing combinations.
And this approach has some amazing benefits. First, you get what's called separation of concerns, which is a fancy way of saying that a component's visuals, styles, and logic all live together in one neat little package. Each component also has a single responsibility. It does one job, and it does that one job really well. This makes them super reusable. You build it once, and you can use it anywhere you need it. And the best part? Maintainability. You can fix a bug or add a feature to one component without worrying about accidentally breaking your entire application. It's a game changer.
Now, this whole revolution isn't just some abstract theory. It's powered by a set of tools that are built right into every modern web browser. We call them web components. So let's open up the toolbox and see what's inside. The first building block is custom elements. This is where the magic really starts. It literally lets us invent our very own HTML tags. So instead of a generic div, we can create something like a user profile element that the browser actually understands. It makes our code almost self-documenting.
Next up is the shadow DOM. Think of this as your component's own personal protective bubble. It makes sure that the styles you write for your component, like making a button red, won't leak out and accidentally turn every other button on the page red. And just as important, styles from the main page can't leak in and mess up your component. It's like a safe, conflict-free little world for your component to live in.
And the third pillar here is HTML templates. The template tag is kind of like a holding area for chunks of HTML. The browser knows it's there, it checks that it's valid, but it doesn't actually show it on the page until you say, "Okay, go." This makes it incredibly efficient to stamp out copies of your component structure whenever you need them, kind of like a cookie cutter.
So when you put all this together, these native components have a really predictable life cycle. They know when they're created, they know when they get added to the page, and they know when they get removed. This gives us these perfect, reliable moments where we can hook in and run some code, maybe for setting things up or for cleaning up afterward. It just makes everything much more manageable.
Okay, so these native browser tools are super powerful, but they can be a little clunky to write by hand. And that's where a library like Lit comes in. Now, Lit doesn't replace those native APIs, it just sits on top of them and makes them way nicer and more productive to use.
And the very first thing you'll notice about Lit is its size. We're talking about 5 kilobytes. That's it. To put that in perspective, that is absolutely tiny, a fraction of the size of most popular frameworks out there. This means your pages are going to load faster and you're sending less data over the wire. It's a huge win for performance.
So what do you get for those tiny 5 kilobytes? Well, Lit basically acts like your super helpful assistant. It gives you reactive properties, which just means your UI automatically updates whenever your data changes. No manual work needed. It helps you write these beautiful, clean templates, and it handles all that style protection for you. Basically, it cuts out all the boring, repetitive code so you can focus on building awesome features.
Building components is one thing, but how do we know they actually work correctly and that they won't break later? Well, let's talk about testing and how a modern tool like Vitest can help us lock in that quality.
The whole philosophy here is actually really simple, but it's so important. You should test your components the same way a user experiences them. Don't worry about testing some internal variable or a hidden function. Instead, write a test that checks if clicking a button actually shows the right text, or if filling out a form enables the submit button. You focus on what it does, not how it does.
Now, when it comes to strategy, you've got two main approaches. The first is isolation. That's where you test one single component all by itself and you fake any data it needs from the outside world. This is perfect for making sure its own internal logic is solid. Then you have integration. That's where you test how a bunch of components work together to make sure they're passing data and communicating correctly. You really need both to build a rock-solid system.
Okay, so we can build individual components and we can test them. Awesome. But how do you take all those little Lego bricks and build the entire castle, a full-blown, feature-rich application?
And this is the big question, right? A lot of people see components and think, oh, that's cool for buttons or little widgets, but can you really build an entire complex app this way? The answer is a huge, emphatic yes.
The secret ingredient here is something called state management. See, for a big app to work, different components all over the place often need to share and react to the exact same pieces of data. A global state management system acts like a central source of truth, allowing all your components to stay in sync without them having to know about each other directly.
And hooking up a state manager, like this one called Zoostant, with Lit is surprisingly simple. It's this elegant three-step dance. First, your component subscribes to the central data store. It's basically raising its hand and saying, hey, let me know if anything changes. Second, when a change does happen, the store pings the component and it updates its own data. And third, the component tells Lit to efficiently re-render only the parts of the UI that were affected. It's incredibly precise and super fast.
And you know, this whole ecosystem is really growing up. We're now seeing advanced features like server-side rendering for Lit components. This means we can send a fully formed page right from the server, which gives you blazing fast initial load times and is great for SEO. It shows this stuff is ready for prime time.
So I'll leave you with this question. As you start thinking about your next project, are you going to approach it as just a collection of disconnected pages, or are you going to see it as a cohesive system of independent, reusable, and maintainable components? Because honestly, that choice can change everything about how you build for the web. Thanks for tuning in.